All right, in this video, we're going to talk about merge and concat. I already have a file open, and it's already being executed by NodeMon. So merge and concat can be used in two ways. Let's talk about the first way we could use it. So let's say we have an Rx observable interval of 1 second, and then we can merge in an Rx observable interval of 500 milliseconds, and then we can go ahead and subscribe to that. So subscribe, create subscriber, merge one. So now what we get is, as you see, we get one value emitted every second and one value emitted every half second. So merge does literally, take 5. Okay, not a whole lot to say about merge. It literally just merges in one sequence into another. Another very common way to use merge is with different syntax. If we do Rx observable.merge, we can go ahead and pass in a bunch of observables into this function, and it'll create a merged observable. So I can do Rx observable interval 1 second, and then I can say map. Let's map it to I goes into I seconds, and then we do Rx observable interval 500.map I goes into I half seconds, and then I'll go ahead and take 5 of these, and no, let's take 10 of these, and then I'll subscribe to it, and I'll say is create subscriber merge 2. So now we get next 0 half seconds, 0 seconds. Oh, never mind. I was so confused by that. I was like, what is going on? No, I'll just comment out the top one. Okay, so we get 0 half seconds, 0 seconds, 1 half seconds, 2 half seconds, 1 second, 3 half seconds, 4 half seconds, 2 seconds, and so on. So we see that this is a very, very common pattern where we'll merge multiple sources in, and we'll map each one to specify something interesting about it. Like, we could go ahead and say Rx observable merge, and we could say something like, let's say we have this this function that connects to a socket and connects to a socket IO event. So we do something like socket on, and this on method returns a observable. So on login, and we would map user goes into process user, and then we would say socket on log out, and we would map that to null. So now we have a current user observable. So I can say const current user. And it's merging in our login events and our logout events, but it's processing them differently. So when we log in, we process the user and so on. And when we log out, we go ahead and we set the current user to null. Now, if I subscribe to current user, that's going to go ahead and that's going to produce the current user that's logged in based off these two events. So that's an awesome way to use merge. We also have concat. Concatenate, that should be pretty straightforward. If I go ahead and say Rx observable range 1, 5, and then do concat and do Rx observable range 10, 3, and then subscribe, create subscriber, and then we'll do concat 1. You see we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 10, 11, 12. Now, an interesting thing about concat literally concatenates. So if I went in here and I said interval 100 or 500.take 3, notice how I get my first 3 values from my interval before I get my range, even though the range would complete immediately and return its values. I only get it at the end because concatenates. Also, we can do the same thing, the same other syntax with merge. We can do Rx observable.concat, and I can pass in Rx observable interval of, well, let's go ahead and just grab this code. Now, the difference is I am going to go ahead, I have to give it a take if I don't give this code a take, then it's never going to complete. It's never going to go to the next item because this one will never complete. So I need to go ahead and say take 3, and then I'll take those on half seconds. Now I subscribe, create subscriber concat2, go ahead and save that out. Notice how we get 0, 1, 2, and then we get our half seconds. Another interesting thing about this, and we get them forever. I'm going to add a take 3 on that as well, so that doesn't distract me while I'm talking. Okay, so what's interesting about this, notice how concat2 starts off 0, 1, 2. So it's only ever going to subscribe to the next one until the first one is acquired. So that's an important thing about concat. So yeah, you can see these on Marbles, the rxmarbles.com. Again, this is merge, just like we did before, what we saw. And they also have a concat example. Notice how the first item, if we move this complete forward, it will concat at the end of that. So the first item, the first subscription will always go down the pipeline until before the second one. And we can concat and we can merge as many things as we want. And that's another important thing to know. Anyway, I think that about wraps up concat and merge. And we'll see you guys in the next video.